Hi guys, welcome to another review here. Today we have the ScaleTrains, aka Fox Valley Models, Norfolk and Western Class J locomotive. This is the first model that they have produced from the MTH molds that they purchased. I want to say 2000, or excuse me, 2020 or 2021, somewhere in that time frame. Wasn't long after MTH said that they were at that time discontinuing HO. They bought the HO and the S scale, and allegedly Atlas bought the O scale stuff, but I still see MTH stuff coming out in O, so I don't really know how that works. But be that as it may, um, right now ScaleTrains owns MTH, HO, and S scale, the molds. Okay, so this is their first product that came out, and the reason why they put it on the Fox Valley brand, according to their president, is it doesn't meet up with the rivet counter, the quality of the rivet counter line, but it's not like an operator one. So it's somewhere in between. I'm like, okay, I don't know your standards. I'm not going to argue. But uh, we're going to do an honest review on this today. And a lot of people say, oh, I'm doing an honest review. Well, they don't tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay. So we're going to go and we're going to look at this. Um, I will say, out the box, it ran okay. And the reason why I say okay is, and I've seen other people on user groups like fans of ScaleTrains, a couple other places, have said the same issue that I had when I first started it. The locomotive itself, if you look at it, obviously it's in two parts, but and I've seen a video of this online. The If you just set the locomotive on the track by itself, uh, it will at least produce the sound. I don't know if it'll operate it. I think it does, but it will produce some sound, and then the tender will also produce some sounds. It's like they divide it up where the high end is coming out of the locomotive and the bass is coming out of the tender, which I thought was kind of odd, but who might argue? Okay, this is the way they produced it. So my issue was the when it went around the track, there was times where it was strictly the locomotive never lost power, but the tender would cut in and out. And like I've heard that complaint online, and people are going to say, "Well, I'm going to send it back to ScaleTrains." Well, I thought it might have been a track issue because I've had issues with my track. Okay, no lie. So I just ran it and let it go for a break-in period. And when I break them in, I like to try and run them for an hour straight, a half hour at least in each direction. Well, steam I don't run in reverse. So I just said we're running an hour. And the problem eventually went away. Okay, so keep that in mind. You may have that issue. If it doesn't go away, you absolutely send it back. Call them, tell them you're having this issue, and they should give you an RA. And I don't know if they'll send you they might send you a label too to send it. I don't know. But at least they'll give you an RA number. You send it back and they'll look at it. Okay. That goes for any issue that you have as far as operating goes. Now, we'll go into some other issues that I have. But let's look at it overall. Now the prototype. operated on Norfolk and Western from 1941 through 1950. Um, and there was 14 of them. The 611 is the only one that's still preserved and operating. Matter of fact, uh, we're in 2025. Last year, it made an appearance down in Lancaster at the Strasburg Railroad. Okay, and it operated down there for, I don't know, a month or so, maybe longer, and it was a great rail fan opportunity. This this model is off of that prototype. Okay, it is the Spirit of Roanoke, and it has the sound. Now, I will give ScaleTrains a big kudos on this one. They nailed it. Okay, my better half, when I demonstrated the locomotive for her, she thought it was kind of odd. Okay, the whistle part, the bell, not so much. Bells are bell, but she thought the whistle was kind of off, and I kind of was like, oh, maybe it is, maybe it's not. So I went online, found YouTube videos that actually had, coverage of NWJ when it was in Strasbourg, and yeah, they nailed it. Okay, so I'm used to a different whistle. Um, I think they called it the Hooter. I'm not sure. Anyway, um, but yeah, it is spot on. The sounds are good. Uh, I'll go through some of the functions, but I won't play everything because that's not the way I roll. Um, I don't know how many cars it will handle. I have a 5 car set that I bought way back when I had an MTH Class J. It was I think it was 601. It wasn't I couldn't, or 603, something like that. I couldn't find 611, which was sad, but I had one, and it shorted out, unfortunately, because I had a problem with the track. And a friend of mine, uh, Jake Benton, shout out to Jake, who I became friends with. He took it, and he's going. I think he said he was going to. I don't know if he did or not. He'll have to let me know. Um, Went back in and repaired it, uh, adding a different, obviously, maybe not soundboard, but a different um, DCC chip, because the original ones were DCS, which is what MTH came out with, is their own DCC type system. I mean, it's compatible with DCC rather, but it wasn't. But it had extra functions, if you can believe that. Um, and it ran better with their own uh, DCC type system. But unfortunately, you couldn't use. I would love to get that one, but it's not compatible with normal DCC. So I was like, we'll just stick with this. But at any rate, um, so this is their first release, as I said, of the NWJ. Now the coal load is actual coal, which is a big kudos to them for doing that. Um, they nailed the paint. It looks fantastic. And as I said, we have the sound. The sound is good. But let's switch cameras, and we'll look at the front. Okay, so we gotta go with this. Okay, so now we're looking at the head end, and you can see part of my layout in the background. But getting back to the pulling power, I've heard there's issues with how many can pull. I have a 5 car set that's original MTH, which they also released from ScaleTrains, also I believe under the Fox Valley brand, and it's the same more or less 5 car set. I think there's a few different numbers, but basically the same type. Okay, so if you, but they're individual cars. So instead of getting one big box that has 5 cars in it, you get 5 individual cars, which, okay, it is what it is. But the this locomotive pulls the 5 cars, and it's fine. I didn't notice any, you know, any problems with it. I haven't looked on my voltage meter on the layout to see if it drops or raises or whatever, to pull, more juice. But it hauls it around at, um, it will do very slow uh, operations as far as like you do one speed step, it crawls. So I mean, it's good in that respect. My small layout. Now I've seen the other reviews will say that it's like under, like it's like 3/10 of a mile an hour at one speed step. So it's close enough where I can say, okay, so that's roughly 65, 70 miles an hour, maybe give or take, maybe closer to 60 if I run it at 70. And I've got a relatively small layout in here. The room's only, you know, 10 by 13. So to make a loop, it'll go quick if I go faster. But that's a relatively good speed. I mean, it's hauling pretty well. Um, so let's look at the lighting first. So we're going to go here, and here's the headlight. Okay, now that is much brighter than I thought it would show. Now, on the camera, it shows up very bright. On the layout, when it's running around, it's not that great. Okay, it doesn't cast out enough light. I think the color's off. I mean, maybe I'm used to just plain old white, but I mean, it's fine. Let's turn this off and so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so that's the headlight. So let's turn the headlight off. Okay, and as you do notice that the marker, well, the number boards there, they do light up as well. Okay, so we'll turn that off. So let's see, which one is 5? Okay, so F5 does the marker lights, and you get 2 colors. You get white and green. White is for extras, and green is for a regularly scheduled train. So your marker lights are here. That's the white. You turn F5 again, they turn off. You hit it again, and they're green. And that's all they do. Okay, so we turned that off. So that's your head end. It looks really nice. Like I said, I would have preferred a stronger, how do you want to say it? A stronger looking headlight, but it is what it is. Okay, you have to take the good and the bad. So let's switch back to the other view, and we're going to now the rear tail light works just works fine. Uh, Almost the same intensity. Okay, I don't have a camera set up for that, but it's like I said, it is relatively the same. So appearance wise, let's see one more thing, or let me talk about one more thing, is the cab. Okay, and this may sound like a petty gripe, but it's not, because you have, let me see, where's the function? I have my handy dandy owner's manual here. There is one more light that I did forget because I don't use it. If I find it. Class lights, cab light. Okay. F6 is your cab light. Okay, so that's F6. Okay, so there's your cab light. Your cab light comes on and there's no people. Okay, I get it. ScaleTrains never put people in. I think there are only, I think it's just maybe, I know Broadway Limited does. MTH used to when they were in business. They still might if they're producing steam and O or G scale. I don't think they ever did G. I'm sorry, maybe I made a mistake there. Anyway, O scale, they might have. I never really checked into that. Um, and Bachman does, I think. Okay, don't hold me to that. I don't. I never owned a Bachman. But here's my thing, and I checked with Jake about this too, because like I said, he owns my old one, and I know he has one. I said to him, Jake, look at the interior of yours on the and I have a question because I noticed this when I was messing with it. There is no seats. Okay, now there's supposedly reproduced the entire locomotive from these molds, and there are no cab seats, not for the engineer or for the fireman. So what happens? Okay, so I want to add these guys. Where are they going to sit? How am I going to put them there? I'm not. That's a problem. So you give me a cab light, but I can't put people in it. I don't know. Maybe somebody at ScaleTrains can explain it to me. I don't get it. So let's turn it off. Okay. So that's how that works. Um, Now, I know Broadway Limited with their, I believe it starts with their Paragon 4 versions. I don't think they did in Paragon 3. I could be wrong. But for sure, the Paragon 4 versions of Steam, when you hit the startup, anything below 3 speed steps, I think 2 or 3, at least 2. You have a cab light, and of course they have figures in there because that's how they roll. So, and it automatically shuts off when it goes past 3 speed steps, which is nice. I mean, that's cool. This you have to turn it on manually, and well, I mean, if you don't have any people in there and you don't have any seats for the people, I guess it's a good thing because then you're not showing there's nothing there. But why would you have it in the first place? I don't know. So, um, we'll wrap this up. We'll do the sounds, okay? And so we did the lights. So let's hear the bell. Let's see, that's F1. Okay, so that is your bell. Your whistle is F2. Okay, like that. Okay, so that's your thing, your whistle. There's a smoke generator. Now I've heard people have issues with that. I think that's not. How do I say this? I think that's an individual thing. Okay, if it doesn't come on, let them know. This is not one of those. It's a random thing. Okay, like if you buy something and sometimes you get a lemon. Okay, and you got to send it back. They got to okay. Here, oh, this is a loose wire here. Could be that. Um, or you have a bad smoke generator. Fix it. Okay. But I don't think it's a system wide type of problem. It's an individual thing. So we'll do an F3. Okay. And I will say, now it's not coming on just yet, but it's there. It's ready. So I guess we should turn it on. Oh, I just think I just heard a kick. Okay, so we'll start the engine with now it has the factory sound, which is the DCC, which is from Lock Sound, ESU Lock Sound, and just like their other locomotives, it's F8 is your startup. And there's really not a whole lot to it. It's just that, which is a little less dramatic. Oh, there we go. Now we get the smoke because I had to turn that on. Okay, that's fine. Now, I'm going to move this at one speed step. I want you to see what it does. We're going to 050 it to back here because I want you to see at one speed step. I'm going to turn this light on. Well, that doesn't help. Okay, so we'll just, here, let's try moving this. We're working on the fly here. So just hang on a second. There we go. Now, well, we had the background until it flopped. Gotta love it. Okay, so now we got some background. Now you can see the smoke. Okay, so we're gonna, and there are random sounds that do go. That's the coal auger, I believe. And we'll go down what the list is, but I want you to see it at one speed step. Okay, so here we go. It's very smooth operation. Now, okay, that just shut off. Now it's going to chug, okay? I want you to hear it. And see, I was extremely impressed with that, okay? Uh, it's not often that you see something of that caliber. Broadway Limited, as great as they are, you need to take a lesson from this. Because that is perfect. Okay, so we're going to stop it. We're going to shut the smoke off. And let's move it forward a little bit. We're just going to move it forward. Okay, I have the smoke turned off, so don't panic. My smoke unit's still working. Okay, so now we got to stop. Okay, so we're going to shut these off. Well, no, I guess we'll let it go. It's fine. So the other functions are F4, you have a coast mode, never used it. Your class lights are F5, we went through that. F6 is your cab light, which is useless, so we went through that. F7 is your water refill. F8 is your startup and shutdown. Where are we at? F9, heavy load mode, never used it. 10 is independent brake. F11 is your grade crossing. Let's see if I can get it to work. Oh, that wasn't it. Okay, so it didn't work. Okay, I don't know why that didn't work. It's my controller. I've used it on the other layout. It does work. So let's see what else we got here. F12 is your disable brake squeal sound. F13 is your coupler crank. 14 is your air pump. Well, there's two different air pumps, 14 and 15. 16 is your injector, which is also they're both random sounds. 17 is your automatic brake. 18 is a ash dump. 19 is a blowdown. 20 is a safety valve. 21 is a curve squeal. 22 is a rod clank. 23 is the oil headlight. F24 is your stoker, which you're just hearing right now is a random sound. Thank you, that was very good. I'm not sure which one that one is. I think that's your ash thing. The ash dump. Yeah, that's the ash dump. Okay, so that's also a random sound. And there's your blowdown. Oh, that's pop off. I'm sorry, that's the pop off valve. Okay. So where are we at? Okay, 25 is a sanding valve. You have 26, 27, 28 that are empty, and 29, which is a sound fader. Once again, never used it, so I have no clue. So, my overall impression. Now, I will say one more thing. let me see if I can move this ahead. I want you to see. Yes, I know, I just made it bright. We're going to bring it up here. As I want you to see, I've had to make an alteration to this. There's your brake squeal. Let me just turn the sound off. Okay. That coupler is not the stock coupler. Okay. ScaleTrains uses, I don't even know what it is. It looks like rusty. Um, I'm not a big fan, but most of the time they will work. Uh, this one was low, and I mean, yes, I have valleys and dips in my layout, but the things I had out of the box from MTH that ran perfectly together all the time would not stay coupled to this because it was too low. So, I mean, I tried. I mean, you coupled them, coupled up to them, but it wouldn't hit a spot, and it's like, nope, I'm not going to stay coupled, no matter how much I shuffled the deck. So I had to put an overshank. I'm not sure which number that they are from KD. You'd have to look it up. But in this model now, and I don't know if it's the whole thing is a mess, but at least on this model, it didn't want to stay coupled. So once I put that overshank KD coupler on it, which means it sits higher, like if your coupler is here normally flat, it's up here. So that's what I had to do, and it worked perfectly. Okay, it ran just fine. Um, so that's basically it. I mean, other than those couple of little quirks, um, overall, I think it's a decent locomotive. And would I recommend to a friend? If you don't have anything that's, an N and W steam, especially, a J, and let's face it, if you want a J, especially number 611, you're either going to have to go and hope for the best on eBay or buy Bachman. And I don't know what their quality's like anymore. I've heard they're better. Um, to find one that even has a smoke unit to it is going to be rare, if at all. But I would say that this is probably your best option, and $525. That's a steal. Okay, uh, considering what the market's like today. Uh, so if they have them available, um, either through ScaleTrains or whoever you have for a retailer, I'm pretty sure Yankee Dabbler still has them at the recording of this video. Anyway, um, they're worth having. Like I said, when they first came out um, with the prototype, the demonstrator, they had issues with the smoke unit. They have resolved that issue tremendously, and I can't say enough about that. That just impressed the crap out of me. Okay, I think that was really, really worth waiting on, and like I said, the overall performance is good. Um, if you have issues, and I know the guys at ScaleTrains, I've dealt with some of them personally for different reasons. They are great at what they do, and service wise, definitely. So, you know, if you this is something you're interested in, by all means, please get it while it's available. Um, aside from that, I think we're gonna call it a day, and we will wrap this video up. And if there's something that you would like to see reviewed in the near future, I have a bunch of different other locomotives. Uh, we did the FEF. I do have a Challenger, hopefully coming soon. That's part of the conductor series, the Conductors Club. Um, I think that will be here shortly, um, and we'll have do a quick review on that one, my thoughts on it. Conductors Club, and I will say this, we're just going to do real quick. It's not a plug; it's just my opinion. The Conductors Club is definitely worth it. Right now, for this current year, they're doing diesels. Um, the big one that they're doing is, of course, the combined KCCP, CPKC, I forget what it is. I think it's CPKC paint scheme, and a few others in both HO and N scale. Price is awesome. Uh, Probably like $100 cheaper than buying it outright somewhere else. Plus, the HO ones have the smoke units if you want the smoke units. They're okay. Depends on what you need or want. But definitely the paint scheme, it's worth the money. I mean, you're coming in at least $100 under what normally you would see for a one that's just like it anywhere else. So with that, we are going to wrap this up, call it a day, and put this one in the can. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.